Christian Scandriato. I'm the level designer. I'm also designing most other parts of the game, and I work on all the enemies and levels and mechanics. There's two aspects to designing levels for a roguelike game. First is flow. So it's very important to make sure that each individual room and level has a flow to it. We want to guide the player through an experience of enemies and encounters that they aren't completely obvious of. Subconsciously, if there's something in your way, you want to go around it, and I do a lot of that. Do I lose when playing my levels? Constantly. Constantly. You know? It's mostly because I'm trying to go very fast. I want to see if the dresser in the corner is layered correctly, if Allie's coming at it from the left. So that's all I'm focused on, and I have to plow through about 30 to 40 teddies to get there. I will lose, and I should really just take my time. I hope so. What have I focused on in developing Cat Lady this past week? There was a lot of fixes that need to be made. Much like any first draft, unless this is a college paper the night before, you're not going to submit it. We have to do a lot of revisions. So what I've been doing is doing a lot of revisions, making sure that everything is in the right spot, making sure all the difficulty is in the right aspect, and making sure all the art is layered correctly. A lot of just tiny tweaks that really take a lot of time. Progression was a big one. So we've been working on how the amount of money that you get and spending on certain things to upgrade yourself throughout the game have to be equal. Otherwise, you feel like you're way overpowered or you're way underpowered and it's not worth it. Designing this kind of progression for this kind of game is like throwing a dart at a dartboard in the future and hoping that it lands on a bullseye. We did this maybe 2 months ago. We planned it out and then we got to test it this month and it worked, which is the most wonderful thing. Procedural generation typically is not computers actually make all of this stuff. Sometimes it is, but typically it is not. What it typically is you take prefabricated levels called prefabs, and you take them in big chunks, and you chunk those in random arrangements so that it's new every time. So what we're doing is procedurally curating. We have a pool of levels that we select from based on tags that we've set, and those tags create a layout based on the layout that we've tried to organize that you'll be playing through as a player. Currently, we are working on 3 areas of Cat Lady, and one of them is the courtyard, which is this big, open, foresty area. And I've been having a blast with that. It's really easy to use trees in a nondescript way, which allows me to do a lot of really interesting things with specific stuff, like a statue. Very often when we're making levels, we want to make it so that you don't really notice that they're the same, that we're using a very small amount of art assets to make a very large amount of levels. So if we get unique with it, they have to be so unique that you notice, but not so unique that you remember it. And thankfully, trees are nondescript enough that I can do 10 to 20 to 30 of them, and nobody will notice. It's Buff Bunny. I love Buff Bunny. Players have sent me direct messages saying, I hate this enemy, why would you do this to me? And it's my favorite thing in the world. My favorite thing to work on in Cat Lady so far, it's probably the bosses. I think they're really unique. A lot of the arrangements of bosses we're using is things that we've taught you along the way throughout the game thus far, and then collecting all that into one big fight. And those fights are really killer, and I'm really enjoying them, and I hope you all do too. Thanks for watching. I hope you like Cat Lady. We made it. It's pretty good. It's coming out eventually.